In today's episode of the podcast, I'm joined by Alex Sander Sherlock, the founder of Wolfluxe Agency, based up in Stockport near Manchester. This guy is honestly a pleasure to listen to. He shares ad strategies, content strategies, and also gives us his perspective on agency life, how it is now, and also how it was when he started. One of his first case studies being a mate who paid him $3,000 for a website that he didn't know how to build. If you're looking to listen to a founder story in the agency space, which will not only entertain you and make you smile, stick around to the end of this video because you'll learn a lot, but you'll also laugh a lot as well. Alex, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for coming down. First and foremost, who are you? What do you do for anyone who doesn't know you?
Brilliant. Thanks for having me, Aaron. I'm Alex, the founder of Wolfluxe. We are an agency that specialises in ads and content with a slight narrow down niche in Ecom. But we've, worked with a number of different areas, clinics, SaaS companies, barbers, you name it.
Anyone and everyone who comes with a check.
Where you at? If you got a business, pay me. I'll work for you.
Right, so let's talk about Ecom. Off camera, you were telling me about a specific case study, right? That was pretty exciting.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting one for us. A company called Bonded. They sell eyelashes, quite a low value product. And to give you the overall picture, last year they did about 30K in revenue, all organic, which is still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
We then injected our paid ad strategy and our sort of founder mentoring. And this company is now doing £30,000 in 3 months.
Wow.
So, that's the same revenue they actually did for their whole year last year.
Mm-hmm.
So on track, I believe, to 4x their business this year, and hopefully even better than that.
Hopefully more with Black Friday and the end of the year.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's powerful.
So,
right,
things.
we spoke about some of these other niches just now. So was that early days or was that more recently?
Yeah,
Are you really disciplined with focusing on purely e-com scaling, or is it, you know what, you've got these skills, who can we help?
All right, so I've got two answers to that. I passionately believe in marketing for any business that comes off the core principles of marketing. And if you're a good marketer, you should be able to market most things.
Mm-hmm.
However, for the business, our real focus is ecom.
Mm-hmm.
We have the most impact there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay. What other kind of results have you delivered recently? I heard you talking about a clothing brand or a streetwear brand.
Yeah, so there's a streetwear, yo. There's a streetwear brand that we've worked with, and again, this is actually a really recent strategy. We dropped this I think last payday. So what was it? We took their items and we put them into a mystery box. So you order this box, you don't really know what's in it. It's got a value. We threw in a high ticket item, 1 in 10 chance to maybe win that as well. This is pretty cool because for the actual company, this worked out like running a 10% discount code. On the day of launch for that product, we launched the ads and it got 100x ROAS on ads to the back end and 84% on SMS, which was cool. This is one of the
is that purchase conversions?
Yeah, that's purchase conversions. So this model is using scarcity drop methodology, but shows how powerful that can be when combined with a strong front-end ad strategy as well.
For more culture-based brands like clothing, right? Walk me through the drop strategy for anyone who doesn't know it, because we've done it many times with our clients, but how would you describe the drop strategy?
Okay, I mean, so the drop strategy is essentially where you create a collection for hopefully an audience that you already have generated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend this if you don't have the audience yet.
Yeah.
And you create the collection, you build it out, you build up hype, you build up intention, and there's also an element of scarcity. So each unit will only have maybe 100 to be sold. Let's use that as a rounded figure. You then release that into hopefully a pool of people who are really in love with your brand, and it's a sellout culture. People want to acquire the unit because it's not going to come around again. And that is essentially the core principles of the drop methodology. Yeah.
Amazing. Talk to me about infrastructure, team. You guys have been running for a while,
yeah,
right? So
okay.
how long have you actually been in the marketing space?
Wow. Okay, that's a really good question. I mean, I've been in the marketing game since straight out of uni. I fell into it at uni. One of my boys needed a website. He got quoted 6K. I was like, give me 3K, bro. And I'll work it out.
yeah. I'll figure it out on the way.
I'll figure it out. So yeah, that was my first step in. I then tried to launch an agency straight after that period of time with a few friends. Unfortunately, one of my friends had a nice taste for Moet champagne and was spending our capital as it was coming in on the company credit card. So we had to slow things down. I had to take a few lessons on the head there. At that time, we were renting an office from my mum's partner who was in SAS, and he was just starting out his business, 3-man team. So I shut down doors for a bit and worked for him. His business is now 40 strong, major player in the parking industry.
Nice.
And got a lot of experience over those few years. So I hold the head of brand title from that. I've done the branding, done all the areas of marketing for that. And then COVID hit, and I was like, right, let's re-get this agency game going. That was my passion. That was my drive. That's what I wanted since I was 18. So I guess I've been in the game for a while. You know, we've all had those failures and learning lessons, but now I'm implementing all those learnings into what I consider a successful start to hopefully a bigger agency. Yeah.
Talk to me about that kind of relationship that deteriorated.
Oh, wow.
Moet champagne. If you're buying it out and about, it does add up. I'm not sure if Tesco is still going to kill you if they're drinking it at home. Was it more like the partner wanted like the lifestyle kind of marketing dream?
Yeah, he wanted the lifestyle, mate. This was just in time with Wolf of Wall Street coming out.
Oh, right.
And he thought he was the Wolf of Wall Street.
And you guys were young.
And we were young, man.
Yeah.
I may have partook in like 5% of that. But.
All right. Are you the partner? Were you the toxic guy that brought it all down?
No. Let's not go there. Cut.
Holding up a mirror to his own debauchery.
Nah, not like that at all. I joke. But yeah, basically the money was coming in. I was on the tools doing the work, and unfortunately, when it came around to payday, I was like, "Where's the money?"
So, do you feel like hiring and starting businesses with friends is a good win or a bad move?
Again, two answers to this. I think if you've got a solid group of boys who are into business, maybe it might be a winner. But from what I've learned, I think it's best to start on your own, and if you become friends through business, then maybe that's the way forward.
Why? Why does that?
I think with friendship and business, you need certain boundaries, and they're very important to have those distinctions. Yeah.
Yeah, because the guy that you see on a Friday night at 6 a.m. in a kitchen, you subconsciously might lose some respect for him when it comes to Monday morning at the desk.
Exactly that. You need to have some boundaries.
Right? Yeah. I think you need a bit of discipline in your relationships for sure. All right, your background then. So, Alex Sander Sherlock, right? I've spoken to you this multiple times since we've been working together. Obviously, you look more like a Punjabi brother from my culture, I'd say, than any other guess I had. So what is like your heritage, dude?
Wow. Okay, so I'm mixed race. My mum's Malaysian Indian, and my dad's English and Irish. So I'm a mongrel at heart, you know.
Yeah.
One of the dogs for the streets.
Identify with multiple cultures.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. That's a funny subject. When I was younger, I had this like culture crisis all of a sudden.
Of course.
And I was like, who am I? What am I? Where do I belong? Am I British? Am I Malaysian? Am I Indian?
Who am I?
Do I like potatoes?
Is it like what's my favorite cuisine?
What is it?
Is it like you didn't know who your people were in terms of like who do you identify with as a community?
100%. And I think this was also a foundation. I'm from a small town, Henley-on-Thames, quite posh, known for rowing. And I grew up in quite a...
quite posh, known for rowing. Rows and bros.
Rows and bros, bro. It's a huge white... It's a huge white community. And I guess, I remember, moving out, coming up to Manchester and bumping into some of my Asian brothers, and they were like, "You coconut, bro," and I was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "White on the inside, brown on the out." I was like, "Oh my days."
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's pretty true.
It's cool, man. Well, you get to leverage all of those different communities and the understanding. Yeah, it gives you access to all those founders in those different regions. We could have come on here without talking about your team, right?
Yeah, cool.
So you're somebody who's built a team. Walk me through, how do you find the best talent to join the Wolfluxe clan?
Wow. Yeah, this one's a cool one. I mean, let's revisit what we said earlier about sort of, early mistakes and stuff. Like, I've had to go through a learning process with that talent to find the best talent, who's a fit for the business, who's a fit for our clients. So we've got a bit of a criteria. We're looking for people who are hard work, but they've got a bit of personality to them. They can have a laugh on.
You just said you're looking for people who are hard work.
Oh no!
Hard workers, you mean?
That's the old dyslexia coming in there.
You want people who are nightmare team members.
I want these. Yeah.
Bring your issues and we'll.
I want the divas. I want the divas.
The entitled ones.
Right. Let's rewind there. I want people who are hard workers but can also have fun.
All right. Yeah.
Exactly. That's going to be a great outtake.
Outtake? There's no outtakes.
Oh no, it's coming in. Oh mate, that's cool.
Why do you think the founders that you work with, right? Let's bring it back to the business side of things. The Rose and Bros. Why do you think the founders that you work with resonate with you guys? I know you guys focus on building real personal relationships.
Yeah. Okay. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. We focus on building the personal relationship with the founder. We have a very strong system to find the right people to work with as well. I know you talk about this a lot with red flags, where we've identified our own set of flags and culture fit, I guess, with the founders. And it's very easy for us to identify quickly the ones who aren't a fit. We'll speak to them about bits that they need to do, and 4 weeks later down the line, those bits are still not moving forward. Okay, well, sorry. What
does that mean to you as a marketing agency when clients are slow to get back, or when they just become a bit unresponsive with requests?
I think slow to get back is fine. Everyone's busy, but it's when there's like a key KPI or something that needs to move for their business. We've identified it. We've clearly laid out a plan, and there's no action. That's that's not the right fit, really.
Yeah.
But to move on to the positive of why we see what works, I think it's like when you know yourself, when you're pitching, you can get a good vibe for someone. Are they relaxed? Are they positive? Are they leaning in?
Do they laugh at my jokes?
Do they laugh at my jokes? Very important. Yeah.
Key KPI.
Can
they have a laugh?
Do they think I'm funny?
It's true though, in a way. If they don't have a sense of humor, that isn't one of our core values. We are quite humorous in our approach, and in sometimes our marketing as well. So
100%.
People are dead serious all the time, and look, you have your times where 80% of the relationship you're serious, you're trying to get things done.
Yeah.
But if you can't have 20% of a relationship where you're laughing together with clients, really, is that the kind of relationships you want to have across the board? Maybe for some people they thrive off that, but I think we spoke about boundaries earlier, and this is one of those cool ones with your clients where, like you say, you want that 20% of fun. You want people to be real people with you, and that's where you get the most out of them. They get the most out of you. Yeah. When it comes to services, then ads.
Oh yeah.
Ads game is what you kind of hang your hat on, right? And delivering results through injecting your strategy, as you so eloquently.
Yeah, we love it. Inject. Let's go.
What is the core principles for a great ad strategy right now?
Oh, wow. Okay. So I'm on the old school. I used to do the 5-5 method, stack ad sets, put 5 ad sets in, testing, interest testing, all that malarkey. Obviously, the new school is we're talking DPAs with lookalike audiences. We're talking broad. My personal method is still to test the absolute out of it. Yeah. And not assume that one method's going to work. And that's how we get the best results. We run through tests. We run broad. We run catalog advantage campaigns. All the funnel elements. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. You threw a lot of acronyms in there, right? You're now immediately positioned as a higher authority on this podcast. DPAs, CTAs,
LILs. PUR person?
ROAS.
Nah, cool.
How important is content to the ads game? One thing that we've seen a shift with is definitely a bigger drive towards the campaign results are only as good as the inputs and the visuals and the storytelling. So how does it look on your end?
I think by my body language there, you got your answer.
You're in absolute agreement.
I'm in absolute agreement that creative is a huge driver for your strategy at the moment. Obviously, you need the right strategy behind that creative. But yeah, the whole market flipping to broad audience is because creative is becoming so much stronger and the algorithms on platform side is so much stronger. So you definitely need to think about your target audience, who you're calling out, the structure of your ads with a lot more detail.
When a brand is looking at their targeting and starting a campaign, let's say a brand owner is listening to this right now, when they're thinking about their content for ads, where do they start? Wow.
So when you're thinking about your content for ads, I mean, if you're talking to me, I'm test everything. You've seen my own ads. Like I love a big ugly ad versus even a more polished one. So I'll test all those bits. But where to start? I think look at your strategies around you. What's your market? What's your marketplace doing? Do a big ad library audit of all the key players around your business, and then drop back into your traditional marketing. Look at your customer personas. Look at your price points. Look at your penetration. Make sure you got product market fit, for example. From that, you can then get a really good idea of what offer, who to target it to, and what the creative should look like, and hopefully what's already working in the market.
You guys, I remember sharing or receiving a case study from you guys where you batch produce content, which is a strategy that we use for all of our clients. How does that work? And how do you guys actually achieve? I think it was like 60 short form pieces of content from one of your shoots.
Yeah,
which is a lot.
It is a lot. It's going to that Gary V method back in the day where he was like, Gary V Media, and you get 100 assets, and we also film 100 other assets over there while you're doing that 100 assets, right? But yeah, that's crazy guy. How do we do that? Basically, a lot of planning. A lot of planning goes into that. We look for high quality models, high quality talent who can perform both static and video. So we've got range on set, and then I've got a solid team of boys, all ex BBC videographers up in Manchester. One of the perks of being in Manchester, I guess. Who I can call on to bring into the team. So they bring a lot of knowledge with them, which I think helps carry the day.
Yeah. What's the scene like, marketing scene, creative scene like in Manchester? This podcast is sponsored by the Start and Scale Agency Partnership, which is all about bringing the best marketers together to connect, collaborate, and grow, getting their clients amazing results, and growing their businesses and agencies together. If you are an agency owner or marketer looking to scale this year, click the link in the description box below to find out more about how we are bringing the best marketers together to connect, collaborate, and grow in 2025.
I mean, it's bopping, bro. Like, there's so much happening. There's so much talent. There's so much resource. Everything's going on in Manchester at the moment. I really believe.
Has it been good for your networking in terms of meeting others in the space?
So, I guess this is an honest.
So you guys are based in Stockport, right?
Yeah, we're based in Stockport. So we're just 5 minutes out from Manchester by train. But yeah, from a community aspect, from new businesses, from ideas, there's a lot going on. So there's a lot to take.
How do you think that contrasts with London?
Okay. I mean,
who do you think's got the stronger creative scene, Manchester or London?
I mean, I'm a Southern lad, but I'm gonna say Manny.
Why?
Why? I think I think it's just more accessible. The creatives can actually afford to live there. It's a big one. It's your cost of living, right?
Yeah.
We're going deep on this.
Less rowing clubs.
Yeah, less rowing clubs. I mean, there's still some.
Yeah. That's interesting. One thing that I've always said is, you know, Manchester, it is reminiscent of like certain parts of London, like Shoreditch and stuff like that. I lived in London. I've never lived in Manchester, but we're down the road, aren't we? Less than an hour away. And I've seen recently a lot more partners coming and applying for the Start and Scale Partner Program, agencies, marketers from Manchester. You know, when we had the paddle tournament last week, you know, we had North, Mids and South, and the almost the highest votes were for doing it in Manchester.
What a fun day as well. Just shout out.
Yeah. How did you find that day, actually, meeting all the other, some of the other agency partners?
Oh, mate, I came back from it buzzing, just to even meet the boys just from Manchester as well, and just know that there's a strong network of other entrepreneurs doing their thing that, you know, can lean on. It was huge. Yeah.
How do you find the format? Obviously, paddle gets a few people, no names, out of their comfort zones. I don't know why. I thought you were like a paddle pro, yeah. But then when I played you, you're definitely not there, bro.
I know, mate. I coming with the wolf Prasad, but I'm a softie on the inside, you know. I was taking
a sheep in wolf's clothing.
I was there for the fun, not the competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, we had a few different skill levels on the day. I was definitely doing a lot of coaching. I won't name any names there.
Do you feel like those days are valuable and important for everyone who turns up?
I honestly think you should be throwing more of these.
Oh man,
they're
gonna press the buzzer for the team.
That paddle, that networking stuff. It broke it up in such a nice and
I found that
way, you know, like
yeah. One of the things I said this year was like how we engage with the community has to change. It can't just be business development in the event space or a hotel back room with, you know, a projector or whatever. That has its place. We're still going to do that because, of course, education is a primary value. But at the same time, we're all stuck in our businesses most of the time, right? And most of the time it's behind a screen or being with clients. So I basically put myself in, and selfishly put myself in a position where I was like, what would I actually want to do if I was, and I do see myself as just another agency partner in the community. And that's where I was like, you know what? Sport brings competition. Competition brings out people's true nature. And you saw on the day, some people were going hard.
I definitely took note on some of the lads.
Yeah, very.
Like, you know, they were playing both the girls and they were just slamming them back.
No names, but
relax.
There was a guy. There was a guys versus girls game, and they swept them 16-0.
Yeah, I heard about that one, and I was just like, oh, come on.
Lo and behold, two of those guys ended up in the top 3.
Yeah, yeah. No names, right?
You know what I mean? But I feel like that's good because it gets people out of their comfort zones, and then it also, you know, everyone's got a great nature. That's what we try and do.
Yeah,
Stop people with bad nature coming into the community. But at the same time, it's a great way to get everybody off balance a little bit. When you come into a boardroom or an event space, you kind of have a bit of a pretense on how you want to come across, or you know, how you're approaching your own brand, if you like, and introducing and networking, which I feel is like sometimes just so stiff. I don't know how many networking events you've been to in the past.
I was gonna inject something there. It's gonna be the word of the day, right? I hate traditional networking. Avoid it like the plague.
What is traditional networking?
For me, that's like BNI groups, getting in there, trading cards. I've always gone in there and been like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Deborah from accounts at Fix & Co. and trying to get leads of what's that about? Like,
don't you find it's just like everybody is just selling to everybody?
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of, it's like going on a golf course and the holes on the course have been filled with grass.
Yeah.
Nobody can get their balls in, but everyone's hitting their balls trying to.
Balls are just piling up everywhere.
The best part, and I've been a part of some good BNIs back in the day, 8, 9 years ago. It's what you logically think. Oh yeah, I need to get there. I was turning up to my suit. I'm a social media marketer before anyone even knew what Facebook ads were. And I just remember leaving there like, hold on a minute. I've just been sold to more than I was selling. You know what I mean? Oh, you're going to need us. You're going to need us. Oh, you know so-and-so. They work with us. You're just like them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't want to do the expression that I normally do when it comes to BNIs. Nothing against them, but you know what? I haven't been to one in years.
Just say it.
Well, it's not a good time to announce the next Start and Scale get-together as a BNI. Imagine.
5:30 a.m. start, breakfast, but you've got to pay a $5.
And there's only going to be one from each industry.
Yeah,
one person from each industry.
So only one of us is going then, yeah?
Now, they have their place. I like them. Networking is important. I feel like if we can break out and be more creative, give me some recommendations then. What should the next Start and Scale get-togethers look like? What should we do next? Because you can't just be paddling it up every single time.
It's got to be something that promotes a bit of conversation. That's why paddle was so good, right?
Yes.
With that cross court.
Yeah, it's not like you could do five-a-side football. Yeah. Everyone's spread out and not talking to each other.
I mean, even I guess
badminton.
You could do like football golf or something. A bit funky.
Yeah. Or we could do just actual golf.
Actual golf.
We've done a golf tournament before.
I was going to go for the golf.
The problem with the golf tournament was everyone's obviously segmented in groups of 4. And we had like 30 plus attendees. So you do get to know people really well that you're with.
Intense.
But at the end of the day, everyone's a bit fragmented. So maybe there's something there. Maybe mini golf. The same problem. You walk around in twos. All right, look. Talk to me about Start and Scale partnership. What was it about the partnership? You know, there's a bunch of different programs, bunch of different kind of agency scale up kind of things. What was it about Start and Scale partnership that brought you in?
Do you know what's going to be funny? It's going to sound like a bit of fanboy. So I think I joined one of your previous things. Like I dipped in off a sales call. It was pre-COVID. I was just thinking about getting back into the game. And I jumped on one of the calls with you. I remember the Warrington boys were in it. Sam and Luke. Connor Pro Pixels.
Yeah, good lad.
Name some names, yeah. And I'd been following your journey for a while, and then I was like, okay, cool. I've got a bit of money. This whole concept looks like something that could be really powerful to me. So I guess I brought off your brand. You know, the power of the personal brand that you've created. But I could definitely see that you've been on the journey that I'd wanted to go on, and that's really why I brought it in.
What's funny is when you came back, you'd grown a beard. So when I spoke, did you speak? Oh no, you spoke to the team. Then you came to the agency workshop, and then we talked about.
I only grew the beard in between that, by the way.
Yeah, no, but when you came down, and you signed up, right? I then went to look for you on Instagram to see who you are, because you obviously had a good day together.
Yeah.
On the group day, and then it said following. So I was like, oh, I know this guy. So then I scrolled down past all the beard content, and then obviously I didn't recognize you because you've grown this mane, right? And then I was like, oh, it's him. It's that Alex. It then started to make sense.
Yeah, totally.
So what, you think the brand, that was it? Just Aaron Branch?
No, I'm going to build on that. Obviously. But I was saying that is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Following for a while. So, right. So the Start and Scale and why those two things collided. My business felt like it was growing, but I lacked certain systems, and I lacked, I guess some of it was a bit of imposter syndrome was coming into play. And I think coming in and talking to you, and you not only did you validate the viewpoints that I was thinking in my own head, but you also had the ability to inject GHL, some landing pages, some follow-ups. We got to talk about a few of the red flags. That was just so powerful. And then from the back end of that, the quality of the room that we were in as well, I could see that the level of agencies that are joining this program was just top tier. And I always believed when I used to play sport that if you had 3 people, 4 people who were better than you would rise. And that was big for me.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that really speaks to the core values of we want to bring together the best marketers, starting in the UK. and obviously I've given you a sneak peek of why and where that's going.
Big.
No comment right now.
We're gonna say
NDA. But there's a bigger picture and a bigger purpose that you're now aware of. How excited are you about that development?
Absolutely. This is the one time I will swear I'm absolutely fucking buzzing about it, and then I'll do it again for prosperity. Yes, it is fucking awesome.
Yeah. It's going to be big, man. And I think it's a great pleasure for me to hear from your perspective the quality in the community, because people, look, when you come in, we front load things, we give you systems, we give you everything up front and say this is everything we use and do. But then people only really stay and engage for the people who they're meeting, for the link ups, and knowing the validation point hasn't really come up a lot, where sometimes it's just someone saying, yeah, dude, it's shit. Those scenarios that you have to go through as an agency owner, sometimes you just need someone to say, yeah, it's completely normal and it's shit, and you have to go through it, and it's part of the journey. As much as the wins and the lifestyle and the freedom that you might be able to achieve from having your own business, it also comes part and parcel, and there's the grass isn't really greener. It's just you can be a bit more efficient when you're running on it. You know what I mean? What does the future look like for you and Wolfluxe?
Wow. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. And like I said, building on that case study that I mentioned about Bonded, we want to create this program for these businesses that have real talent, but just can't get to where they need to go. We get them from A to Z. And that's where we're focusing our attention at the moment, is building these businesses up. I mean, there's a benefit there for me. I've built a huge relationship, some rapport, gotten some insane value, and hopefully they're going to stick around, be bigger scaling partners for us.
Yeah.
So
one of the questions that sometimes appears on an ad is, if you're so good at marketing, why don't you just do it for yourself and your own brand, in terms of not an agency? Why don't you launch a product brand? And I've seen many people jump between Ecom owners and marketing agency founders. Paul Jones, he had an Ecom store. Now he runs a really great agency, smashing it. And it goes the other way. Some people go from marketing, but less so, to building their own brands.
Yeah.
What would your answer be to that?
Wow. Okay. I mean,
Is it because all marketers have ADHD and they'll never be able to tunnel down on one product?
I think you've hit a bit of the nail on the head. So ADHD comes with a level of empathy, which helps marketers. We understand people. And I don't know, I've noticed that with other people with ADHD as well. So just touching on that. But with regards to the question you asked around that, I've been there. I've tried to launch 4 or 5 ideas at one time and be like, well, focus is key. That's if you want to build something, you got to decide what you want to build. Do you want a lifestyle brand? Do you want to scale this? Is revenue your goal? But you need to focus is key, is all I'm going to say. So if you are going to do that, get your agency to X, hit your mark, and then go build out.
Yeah, get your home base sorted and do what you've committed to
Build
first.
your castle, then go build the second one.
Yeah, then go and invade. The market. I found it funny because I dwelled on it and I thought, why do so many marketers jump into founders of brands and vice versa? And then the ADHD thing came up. And it's like, rather than focus on one e-com business brand to market and put all your skills into, why not just work with 20 of them?
Yeah, exactly.
And then your brain will be stimulated by the chaos that could erupt. And ADHD, sometimes you search for that chaos. Yeah. It's like you're looking for that argument. You're looking for that conflict to engage all the
get that dopamine,
ADHD skills and dopamine reaction, right?
Bam.
I'm super pleased that we got down, to have you and have this chat. I think personality-wise, you represent a lot of, if it wasn't for the Start and Scale partnership, we probably wouldn't know each other.
Yeah.
We'd see each other as enemies. Other castles. Let's go and scrape their list and target their businesses.
I think you raise an important point here, though, about business and competition. And I think there's so many fish in the sea. The competition is vast, but so is the opportunity. And if you can share that journey with people on the same journey, okay, one in two, you might be going after the actual same fish. But most of the time, you're getting the fish next to that fish.
Oh, it's very rare. Yeah.
You know, so
I think one of the biggest tactical advantages we have in the partnership is intelligence and knowing what's happening in a market, knowing who's behaving either correctly or incorrectly, knowing when to make people alert that a client fit wasn't good for them and they're back out there and they're probably reaching out. We had a client, right? And hilariously, we finished on bad terms, which is very rare. Not bad terms, but it just finished abruptly, right? And it's done. And it wasn't a good fit. The sales team let it slip through the net. And then all of a sudden, I start getting messages from agency partners in the community saying, hey, so-and-so said that they've been working with you and they want to work with us now. But if they work with you and you couldn't get the result, we're not sure we can. I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay. Who is it? It's so-and-so. I'm like, okay, it's completely led by you, but this is the experience we had. They didn't work with them. But then they went after another partner. Oh, wow. It's like they're just on my feed, like, oh, that guy's tagged. Let me reach out, yeah. And then this guy didn't. They obviously learned their lesson by not mentioning our relationship and how it didn't work out. And then all of a sudden, I met with this guy from the partnership, and he was like, "Yeah, we're working with this brand." And I was like, "Oh wow, how's it going?" And like, hopefully, they've fixed a lot of the issues that we experienced. You know, the same kind of stuff we've talked about today.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he was like, "Yeah, we've got it under management, we've got it under control, whatever." And then the next time I saw him, oh mate, it went downhill fast. You know what I mean? No. And there's these repetitive behaviors, and I feel like the intelligence we can share as an agency community, not just on bad environments to keep away from, but marketing's changing so quickly, and without a community of other marketers, it's going to be hard to keep up with the updates, the changes. You know, look at our WhatsApp group, the amount of things that are getting dropped in there, tools, resources, just things that people are experimenting with. Obviously, the latest one was ChatGPT's image generation, which has been very good.
Fun one, isn't it?
It's been very creative in that process. But like, it's changing so fast that the community is so important for just keeping up to tabs, because we're all locked into building our clients' businesses, building our own brands. And without people to point you and say, oh, by the way, this new tool just came along, it has a massive impact. It can save you time, can save you money, but it also keeps you on trend. You know what I mean? And we're in an industry, marketing, right, where it's quite annoying. It's not like the mortgage space where the only thing changes are the rates, right? But the process stays the same. The qualification stays the same. It's repeatable and it's repetitive, right? In the marketing space, technology is changing every single day. Does it frustrate you sometimes with like the newest tool or the newest ads manager update, and now they're doing Advantage Plus, and now clients are like, oh, I looked at my ad account and I saw that we could get a 33% lower CPA if we just switch the audience and press this button. Why haven't you done that?
Opportunity score now and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, big shout out to Meta on this one. Like, worst system for updating, and you just log in one day,
everything's changed.
Everything's changed.
You're like, no tutorials.
Okay, cool.
all those targeting options that have disappeared overnight.
Whoa, nice, thanks. Okay, cheers, Meta. Yeah,
but I feel like Meta. Well, first of all, since the Trump inauguration and Meta getting good with Trump or trying to. I don't know if you've noticed this because of the campaigns, but some of the parameters for what you can do on ads has changed. Okay. So the moment I noticed was I saw a Sabri Subi ad, who, by the way, his creatives pop. I love his ads, right?
Yeah.
But he started swearing in the ad.
And it came through.
And it was live. And it was, had X amount of likes, X amount of reach, obviously. And I was like, oh, we can swear on ads now. So I tested it with one of my pod clips.
Right, okay.
And not a single ban, not a single violation, zero. So I'm just putting it out there. You might be able to swear on your ads right now.
Crazy.
If you want to use that for emphasis or shock and horror. You know what I mean? Shout out to Hassan, who, if he takes any clip from his podcast, he will have profanity in there. I think I told you about that.
Yeah, you did, mate.
Hassan was Hassan from the Creative Composite was like, "Can I swear?" I was like, if you want to, you know, it's up to you. Every other sentence, F-bomb, F-bomb, F-bomb. I was like, dude, how are you going to clip this? You've made an editing nightmare on your clips from the pod.
Man.
But nah,
Cool.
dude, I'm looking forward to catching up with you again on the pod down the road, see how we progress.
Some growth stories.
I love your approach creatively. I love your approach from an ethics point of view as well. You're, like I said earlier, a role model for how to approach the game without taking it too seriously. You know, you talk about the ugly ads. Whenever your ads pop up on my feed, I always find them entertaining, and I always love breaking down the strategy that you're using behind them. For example, just walking around middle of the street, it's raining, and you're there talking about ecom audits.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's good fun, yeah.
If people want to follow you, see the journey.
Yeah, cool. So underscore Mr. Sherlock, Wolfluxe Sherlock, and Wolfluxe _ Agency.
If they were just going to follow the main one, which one would that be?
All three.
You always have two. One thing I've noticed on this is you have two answers to every question.
Yeah, dude.
I've got two answers to that.
I like my options, you know.
Yeah. All right. Cheers, bro. Let's leave it there.
Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for having me. And thank you for setting up the science scale.